Okay, more Mario 64 stuff. What Mario 64 stuff wants to be talked about? I don't know. Let's see. Boo's. Boo's Haunt is an interesting sort of area of the castle. And I want to discover why. Partly there's this sort of predominance of eyes that I've focused on often times, whereby there's, the floating eyeballs and the eyes on the banisters. I mentioned this a lot. I don't even know if they are really designed as eyes, but anyway. And maybe the overall feeling that Boos don't want to be seen, but do want to creep on you, kind of behind you. Therefore, there is a theme of vision merely in the sense that Boos are not seen directly. When you look at them, they disappear, but when you don't look at them, they're there. So there's an overall theme of seeing, I would say. And this theme of seeing seems to be present in the game overall. Like I mentioned in the previous video, there's this section at the very end where the camera pans and notices a sun in the sky, and the birds fly towards that sun. That scene is the scene where Mario notices you, the player, or the camera. It's like the first time in the game that suddenly Mario notices you. There's a few sort of interesting things at that moment that happen. One is that then Mario proceeds to be called inside by Peach. I find this funny because it evokes a mother calling a child home from the street, kind of the son has been playing outside or something, and the mother's like, come on, come indoors now. It's like the end of the day. We're going back home. Let's all sort of go back home together, right? But one of the children is delayed and stays a little longer playing or being hypnotized by something, just watching the sun and the flowers. And Mario has this feeling to him of he sort of became distracted on his way back home and started looking at something, which is you. He's looking at you, right? And Peach calls to him. The way Peach calls, just saying, Mario, and Mario kind of runs towards her, or runs, sort of catches up with the group, because it's a group. It's Peach and a bunch of Toads. So Mario is catching up with a group of people, which includes Toads, who are, much shorter than Peach as well. So I'll just share with you what this makes me feel. It makes me think of like Snow White and the Seven Dwarves or something. The idea of a fairy princess that's really tall, surrounded by the little gnomes that are part of her little like mystical family or something. But of course it also looks to me, Mario looks like a child running back home, because I think this is a trope in cinema. That's what I would like to claim. It's the trope of the camera, us, focusing on a child that is being called back home by its parents while the child plays. There's many movies where this happens. I can't think of an example now, and cartoons and so on, where the camera lingers on with a child that has strayed off the path and is focusing on some stuff, and then gets called back home and has to run back home. Also, there may be, this may be just a prejudice on my part, but the fact of Mario running back home, to me, evokes childhoodness. Like, I think that again, this is steeped in prejudices, so I apologize, but I have a feeling that an adult portrayed in media very often doesn't run to someone. I feel that walking is more kind of typical in media of adults in these kind of situations. Like if someone says, hey, like you're sort of, come over here kind of thing, I have a feeling an adult would walk. That's just a feeling I have. So I feel that mixed in with all these different tropes, right? The Peach kissing Mario's nose is also kind of evocative of like Pinocchio, I think. I think the fairy princess kisses Pinocchio's nose at the end of the film. But actually, let me check that. Okay, no, forget that. That didn't happen. It's I don't have enough references, so the kiss in Pinocchio doesn't happen. I think the fairy princess just sort of uses her wand on Pinocchio's nose. But in any case, there's a feeling of royalty in that kiss that Peach, of course, since she's taller than Mario as well, she sort of stoops down to give the kiss. And it also gives this feeling of Mario as this lowly kind of creature that's below Peach. There is a slight kind of, romantic element to it, but there's also a very child-friendly kind of maternal perspective, I think, going on. Anyway, so where else could we go from there? The fact then that Mario is being perceived by the camera and we are perceived by Mario, that seems to be like the final, like the ending, the real ending of the game almost, is being perceived by Mario while we are looking at him. So there's a crossing of gazes. But of course, we are him. We've been playing as him. So we're seen by him, and we are a wide sheet of glass, basically. We occupy the whole screen. We are the screen, the camera, that's looking at him. If we consider that what he has seen is us, and that we are the screen in which he is contained, in a way. Hello. He is an element in the screen that is being seen by us, right? But right now, he has seen us, we have seen him. We are the screen, he's the thing in the screen, so to speak. I think in like Advaita Vedanta teachings, there's often the idea that consciousness is like a screen, and we are the contents of consciousness that's on that screen or something. There's always like this division between the contents of consciousness and pure consciousness itself. I think sometimes in other traditions, in Buddhism maybe, it's referred to as the seated, what's it called? The seat. As if the Buddhist meditating is the seat of consciousness on which everything else rests. Anyway, so these are sort of mystical sort of ideas to rest on this. But where could we go from there? So that's an idea I want to explore, I suppose, is the idea that maybe the screen is purely like the stage on which things happen. One of those things that happen is Mario, but we are watching Mario because we are Mario, right? We are controlling the controls that make Mario move. So we're simultaneously Mario, but we're observing Mario, and I think that duality is what locks into place at the end of the game in a way. Yeah, I don't know. Okay.